So, okay. Okay, so hello everyone. And I'm Anna Zobel, and we are here for our team call that we are doing about Summit. And I've got my little notebook here that I took to Summit, and I made lots of notes. And this little hand here is my daughter. So, yeah, I'm nursing right now. So, just so you know, this is like real, moms doing this business. So anyway, so one of the first tips that I got about doing Summit or taking notes when you go to a big event like this is that Brigida Linford, who's my coach, told us to leave like several pages blank at the beginning of your notes, so like 3 pages at the beginning of your notebook. And she said that as you're taking notes, if there's something that you want to definitely implement right away, or like that's your big takeaways, then you put them immediately in those first 3 pages, and that way you're not having to like go and search for them, And I still, of course, I'm going to look through the rest of my notes and everything, but this way I have some kind of main takeaways already. I'm trying to make sure my daughter doesn't push the off button. So if I suddenly lose you guys, I apologize. Okay, so I have my little Summit to-do list, it says, and okay. So at the top of it, I have written my affirmation that I've started using over the last month. And I think I told some of you guys this is some personal stuff first, so everybody, and I think that's what's great about Summit and things like that, is that everybody will have their own aha moments from watching these kinds of trainings, because you're all at a different place. You all have different personal development things. Which reminds me of one of the quotes I liked from Miguel Carrasco. He said that his coaches asked him, what personal development book should I read? And he says, well, I don't know, because it's personal development. He's like, it's like, what do you need to work on? It's personal. So anyway, so my personal development was that I watched some of the trainings last month, and Brigida Linford asked us, to write down, like, how do you define yourself? And I thought about, how do I define myself as a coach? And I was astounded that my very first thoughts of what I was as a coach were all negative. And I was like, holy cow, I thought of myself as like a positive person, and I put on this positive person persona, and I listened to personal development all the time. But the very first things I thought were, I'm not like, well, I'm not a big builder, and I'm not, and I, just negative things like that. Like, I'm not a good enough leader, or I can't help people succeed, those kinds of things. So my big affirmation over the last month is, what one coach can do, another coach can do. Just saying, like, if, these top coaches, they're real people, they've got same 24 hours in the day that I do. And there's people that were even busier than me, like I was busy when I started the business. I was working 2 night shift jobs and getting my master's degree online, and now it's like I only have one full-time job, And so, anyway, so let's see. And then some of the takeaways that I put on here were that some of the leaders were talking about doing GSRs. GSR stands for Getting Started Right calls. And they went through, what you should do within the GSR. Sorry, my daughter's like fighting me for the book. And I really like that they said you can actually send. So I've used, in my GSRs, I've used the 7-day quick start. And one thing that I learned over the years was that they do change that quick start. Okay, now she's really doing stuff. You guys can still hear me, right? Put your thumbs up. Okay. So here's my daughter. You say hello? Say hello. So, anyway, so I've always used the quick start, and I, put my name on there and my coach's name already on there for them. And a lot of times what I've done is that I have sent that to them like right at the beginning of our call. So we'll look through it together. And what one of the leaders said was that you can, here, hold on. She's like going to turn off my computer with her little feet. One of the leaders said that you can send them the quick start, the 7-day quick start before you ever do the call and have them fill it out, because there's things on there that's like, what's your why, and it starts them on their list of things. It's what are your goals for the next month, that kind of thing. So that's my first tip that I got. And some coaches also do where they'll do a GSR like after somebody has already done some of the coach training. So you know how there's lots of coach training in the online office. So they'll say, okay, once you've done, this many videos or whatever it is, even if it's like one, then it shows you that somebody's like serious about wanting to build and stuff. But I have heard in the past, are you guys loving this? I have heard in the past also that some people do GSRs like for people that never want to coach, and it's, you can do it and just modify it to be like more of a getting to know you call, and see what their goals are for their fitness if they're a discount coach. All right, honey, we're going to put you down so you can go class. Go play. She's looking at me like, okay. All right, so so my next takeaway is team Zoom calls. And so that's why we're doing this here. So I'm implementing already. One of the things from Summit was to do team Zoom calls. And what they said was to do them every single week and record them like we're doing right now. And they said the great thing about that is that then you have all these recordings about all these different topics. And they said after a year, you've got 52 different recordings for your coach trainings, basically, So, and I don't know that I'm going to do them every week, by the way, but after, like I said, even if you did it once a month, that's 12 trainings every year, that kind of thing. So, and then they said, have your team participate, like have different people. They actually said within the team call, they said, one person's in charge of, telling the announcements. One person's in charge of doing the, coach recognition in the call and that kind of thing. Sorry, I'm watching my daughter. She's like going to hit her own head on the door. Okay, now she's calling. Okay. All right. I'll go with her for a second. So, okay. And then I'm still looking through my list here. So, and then another idea that I got from Summit was that, again, with those training videos that we were talking about, you can watch, they've got a whole lot more coach training in the back office. Sorry, I'm closing all the doors so my daughter can't crawl around. And one idea is to watch those trainings and then do your own videos that basically say the same thing. So then it's people are getting to know you and basically your kind of your flair of doing things, but still hearing the same information. Okay. So now, and then I have some takeaways about challenge groups. So any questions so far that you guys have? Okay. All right. So some takeaways about challenge groups. And I know all this stuff is probably stuff you've heard before, and that's kind of how Summit is. It's like, okay, everybody knows you're supposed to do personal development. They all mentioned it. Everybody knows you're supposed to do these things. So this is why, like I said, I still want you guys to watch, of course, the videos that are probably on YouTube by now of the different speakers and stuff. And I need to watch them again also because you're going to have different takeaways than I did. So with challenge groups, it was just, they emphasize getting a deeper why for the challengers, you know, and I really like some of the speakers. They had these dudes, these guys. Like one of the guys that was really cool. And you always love hearing stories. Like this one guy, he was like literally the leader of a SWAT team, and you know those guys are usually pretty big guys and stuff. And he said that he had convinced himself that he was big, like strong, but he's like, but really I was just overweight. And he says he almost failed his own training test. You know, they did a physical test, and he said he almost failed the one that he had come up with. And so he ended up doing like P90X and those ones and actually getting really strong. But then he showed, and he said that people have got to have that why, you know. So for him it was, and they said that sometimes it doesn't always have to be positive, you know, like a lot of us, you know, will like, oh, well, for my kids or my future kids, like it can be negative, you know, like they said, you know, if they're like never again kind of thing, or, you know, for him, it was, you know, that he wanted to get rid of the beer gut or whatever, you know. And so, so they said that it is okay if they're, you know, if you have a negative one. And then he said to make sure you get permission to keep those people accountable, you know. So he said you do need to have those conversations with them if they don't show up and everything. And he says, so, but it's really awkward if you're like keeping them accountable, but you never told them that you were going to. So if you suddenly message somebody and you're like, hey, you know, why aren't you there? Then it's really awkward if they're like, if they didn't think that you were going to do that. So he said, you know, ask them. And Holly, you saw when Elisa would do that in our groups, you know, she'd be like, okay, do you want me to message you or text you? Or, you know, she just asked like how you wanted her to keep you accountable. Okay, come out here. So, sorry, this is our first time having a crawling baby, so I got to close all these doors still. Oops. Okay. Nope. Stay back. Okay. So, all right. Sorry, I'm putting stuff on here. Okay. And then, next thing, it says, oh, this is something I'm implementing in my current challenge group. And I really like this idea. It says, get their 7-day success stories. So, and I'm trying to create one myself, you know. So what you do is you have a 21-day or a 30-day challenge group, but I'm telling my challengers on day one, listen, I want to get your 7-day success story next week. And so what it is you just have them write 2 or 3 sentences like, I started Shakeology and the 21-day fix 7 days ago, and this is, you know, and it doesn't have to be weight loss, of course. It can be like the non-scale victories, but saying something of what has improved in the last 7 days. Like, I don't have as much cravings, or I don't have, you know, those kinds of things. Like, so, sorry, I'm muting you guys. Okay, so anyway, so like for me, I'm already getting some headway on my success story because I did gain weight over Summit. You know, I'm like, I was in Nashville, I ate some barbecue and everything, and didn't eat the best and everything. And so because of that, I actually gained probably, I don't know, 4.5 pounds from last Monday to the Monday, you know, over the week. And so, but I'm really excited because I am really trying to stick to the containers, and I'm doing country heat, and I've already lost like, I think 2.5 or 3 pounds this week, like just from Monday, you know? So, anyway, so yeah, so things like that. Like I tried Shakeology for 7 days and now I feel this, I feel like I don't have to take naps or whatever. So I'm telling my challengers that, and then of course they say praise their successes. And so, you know, you want to throw up all these things of like, and right now I'm trying to even just tag them in a post, you know, like I personally, you know, and again, this is one of my limiting beliefs is that I'm like, I don't have time to make cutesy posts and stuff. So I'm trying to at least do, a post where it's words and I tag the person in it, so I'll, and then the other thing I'm trying, and this is actually from a training last month, not necessarily from Summit, but I am trying the point system again. And what I liked was that they, everybody said at Summit they got their best coaches from their challenge groups and having them do the things that coaches would do. And so what I did was a point system where all of the points are for things that would make a good coach, what a successful coach would do. And so I have everything from posting about your workout and Shakeology, and then I add a point. I say you can add another point if you share it to your personal page, and things like that. So everything you up at a point by sharing it to your personal page. And then I'm even giving them 1 point for encouraging each other, so I have points for encouraging each other. I have points for personal development, like if they meditate or if they read personal development or listen to it. And I've got points for if they post in the group some inspirational thing. I have more points if they actually create a vision board and share it with the group, things like that. So I'm hoping that it goes really well. So far, I've got, people are engaging a lot more than my previous groups, and then the other thing I'm using, and people mentioned this at Summit also, is, and Holly, you guys did it, you guys taught me the Facebook Live feature. So Holly, I'm like, just so I can have some little bit of, interaction here. Can you tell us your guys' experience with your challenge group with Facebook Live?
Oh my gosh, it was a game changer. You get people on there for your daily posts. Okay, this is how we did it. For our daily posts, instead of recording a video previously or just having a post that you post through a third-party thing.
Like scheduled.
Scheduled posts. Every night, and right around the same time, we would get on live, and we try to keep it around 5 minutes because sometimes some of it can get very lengthy, depending on the topic of it. Like one of them was tell us your why, and that one got pretty lengthy, but I felt like it was okay. Hey, those were
so you had the challengers get on live?
No, we did, and we'd share our why with them, but in turn, a couple of them did post. We encouraged them to video themselves or even get on live. None of them got on live. We did have a few people get video themselves and posted in the group their why, but most of them wrote out their why. I have never had so much interaction and so many people dig deep, because these daily videos that we did, not only could they get on with us, and you just had a deeper connection with your challengers, which made them want to do more and made them want to interact in the group and be there. Hands-on, best thing Facebook ever did for our challenge groups.
Yeah. Yeah. And so what I've been doing with the Facebook Live, so you guys kind of did a specific time of day and you did basically your assignments in those. So what I've been doing is I posted about the files of that, all those points, and then what I've been doing is just getting on throughout the day on live and sharing my containers meals and sharing this is what I'm doing for my dinner. I have this red cup of chicken and I've got this green cup full of vegetables, and look at how much it does when I pour it on the plate and stuff. And I give them a few tips here and there and stuff. And then I also I like the faces. And then in there, I remind them, of the assignments of make sure that you're doing your point system and, how to do that and everything. And then what else? Yeah, I'm muting you again. Sorry. And then I also tried for the first time doing a Zoom call of our challenge group. I just did it last night. And that was what one of the coaches at Summit said worked really well, was getting everybody together. And on a Zoom call, and then you kind of go around and you get their why during it. And she said they introduce themselves and tell like why they're in the group, and in this Zoom call like this one. And she said some of them, it's like by the end of the call, like a lot of them are in tears and stuff and sharing like their deep whys and stuff. And then in that call, she explains, what to do with your challenge pack, how to do the containers, things like that for starting out the challenge. So I did that with my group last night. And of course, for me, only like, I think it was like 3 people got on, but I was excited because I think once you just start doing things, you get more confident, because I was able to give them some really good tips about what to do when you're hungry, that kind of thing, So, okay, so we have 10 more minutes. Let's see. So another big thing they kept repeating, the leaders of the company kept repeating, what are you committing to do a program and finish it? They are doing a big push for that, because they know that us coaches, we have access to all the different programs. And there's so many coaches that like, well, I feel like doing Turbo Jam today and Insanity tomorrow. And, and so I mean, they have the challenge du jour, is that how you say it? That's on if you go on Beachbody On Demand, they have the challenge du jour, is how I say it. And it's like all these different videos, and it's like you do 1 video per day, and they give you a schedule basically. So you can commit to that, but they said they made this big push about like you need to commit to 1 program and stick with it all the way through, so that you can show results of 1 program when your people are buying 1 program, and so that's what I have written on my notepad here. Is like, I am committing to doing Country Heat with the containers meal plan, and I will share my 7-day success stories. Okay, so then another thing I've got on here, like I said, okay, so I'm just trying to decide which ones to share. So some things about Beachbody in general, like Jeff Hill was one of the first speakers at the opening ceremonies, and he went through like the mission statement of Beachbody and kind of broke it down, where they say that we help people enjoy healthy, fulfilling lives, healthier, fulfilling lives. And so I like that he broke down the word fulfilling, and he said, help people fill their lives full of all the things that make a difference in your life and make it of what's important in life, and let's see. And then he just made a big point about that it's not about us, like we aren't, we're helping other people, it's not just about you and the points and stuff. So, I put a bookmark here. So Chalene Johnson, I don't know if you guys saw the live video that I posted of her thing. It's in Team Forward Fitness group. Yeah. So she had an awesome talk. So what I really liked, I starred some things that I'm going to share with you guys. So this is, this is one of the things, and I might have even messaged you, Holly, or I know I messaged Marissa, but I'm messaging different coaches, and because she said that we need to be collectors of stories. And so I've messaged 2 coaches this week at least that I'm going to try to share their before and after transformation stories. And I'm going to put them on my blog that I have, and also share them to my, page and everything. But she said what makes people want to buy from us is when they see someone who represents themselves, and it gives them hope. So that's the huge thing about our transformation stories, and you want to be a collector of those stories. And I think that for example, what Brigitte did was when she was building her like page, and she made a photo album, I want to say, and I think you can do that on there. But anyway, an album of like all the transformations and stuff, so that then she could search through that photo album. And what she would actually do was when she invites somebody in the invite process, she will find somebody in that photo album of all these transformations that she has, and find somebody that looks kind of like this person that she's messaging. And so, yeah, so like maybe the before picture looks like that person, and then message that and be like, this person, and share about their struggles and that kind of thing, and share the story. Or even if it's just, she lost, 9 pounds with 21-day fix, and if they're like, wow, that looks kind of like me, and if they can do it, I can do it. And that's, I've done that before too. Like, I remember watching The Biggest Loser, and I remember seeing it was actually a girl that got second place. And that just because she like worked for the corporate company of my hospital that I worked at. And I remember looking at her and thinking, well, she looks like about my body build and about my height. And I remember seeing that she had gone from like in the 200s down to like 128. And so that became my new goal. This is like 5 years ago, was to get down to 128, because I was like, well, if she can do it, again, it's that concept. So the concept, again, it says when they see someone who represents themselves, and that gives them hope, because they see a solution, And so, and then Jolene Johnson also really emphasized, you are the unique ingredient, as far as why somebody would work with you instead of anybody else in Beachbody. And so you want to make sure that you share about yourself. And I love her thing that she says, you want to have smart success instead of stress success. So let's see, I need to wrap this up. So I'm like, there's so much good stuff. Like I said, this is going to be several different calls that we'll do. And maybe, we might have slides some of the times. Okay, so along with that of telling your story and things like that, I wanted to share, everybody talks, lots of coaches talk about having your brand. Have you guys heard about having your brand? So, and it can be confusing, right? Like, because they're like, you need to have your brand, and, some people come up with a name of their brand, and then I heard that, actually you should name your like page and all of your pages. Sorry, my daughter's going for the light socket. Come here. Anyway, here, don't shut them off. Okay, see, there she is now. There you are. So anyway, so first I had heard, people made different names for their brands, but then I heard that you want to actually use your own name for all your pages and stuff, and so then I changed it to that. So what I liked at Summit, they explained that your brand is your uniqueness, and so it's anything. Hey, you're okay. Come here. They said the brand is everything from your head to your toe. It can be your fashion, the color you wear on your toenails, like everything. It's basically your brand is like sharing what's unique about you. And if you remember, like Lindsay Matway also shares, like, you pick 5 things that are about you that you share about regularly. But then, like I said, your brand can be everything that is unique about you. So, like for me, I'm like, hey, my brand is that I'm a redhead, and that I've been a nurse, and that I'm, and also that I'm a working mom, and, all of those things. So I'm going to try to share more about, and I have this thing like called dressing your teeth that I do that I'm going to share more about that too. So, okay, so it says we have less than a minute. So I want you guys to put any questions in our group message, and then we'll be able to answer them in there, because she's not going to let me do anymore anyway. So, oh, now she's going for my water. Okay, well, thanks you guys for getting on. Thanks so much. Thanks, Anna. Thank you.